As you go into the lion rampant, Mason, you look around. You look for these people you've recently met, and they invited you out. The Force, they call themselves. As you give a casual glance, you see one of the first persons coming up to you, and before you know it, a pool cue hitting your right leg is David in his wheelchair. He just smacks you on the shins a little bit and says, "Hey, you're late. Come on."
Sorry. Okay. I thought. Didn't you say what? Didn't you say what? 10 o'clock?
Everyone shows up early. It's better to be early than late. Hey, I mean, come on. If your drill sergeant said 10, when would you be ready?
9:30.
Yeah, come on.
All right. Okay. Sorry. The blush of life is active, by the way.
As he wheels up to a pool table, you see Matt, Desmond, and Justin just hanging around, each of them pint in hand, except Justin. Then he doesn't drink anymore, as he says anyway. They all look and give a casual nod. Mr. Cassidy, nice of you to finally join us, Desmond exclaims.
Good evening. Good evening. Sorry, I wasn't. I thought being here on time was the social norm, but I've almost forgotten that aspect of military life.
You always need to prepare for everything, you know?
Yeah, it's been a while, I have to say. So, yeah, how are you all doing?
David looks to his legs and says, "Well, I'm still walking." Not really, but you know, gallows humor. Matt has kind of this vacant stare. He just shrugs a little bit, and Justin's smiling and shooting just one of the pool balls into one of the holes and says, "I'm great." Desmond is chugging a pint, and as he finishes it, fucking great.
Good. Well, it's really nice of you to have invited me out. I know you've only recently just met me. I really appreciate it.
You're the new kid. Matt here actually thought we should give you a shot, and Matt looks up and smiles a little bit.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah. So, what kind of? Well, how long have you all known each other?
Well, Justin and me, Desmond says, we've been together since what? 2005? 6?
Wow. Nice. So served together then.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not all the time, but David here, he came in 2 years ago. Actually, actually got his shit together and looks to David. David just flips him the bird as he pulls up. And, wheelchair next to the pool table, leaning up. He says, "Well, someone had to take care of you fuckers."
So that's your role and the caretaker, so to speak.
I'm an engineer. I take care of every one of you bastards before you go shooting someone.
Very important, and we thank you for it.
Thank you for your service. And he looks to Matt, and David says, "Hey, Matt, snap out of it. Give him your story." Matt kind of snaps out of it. Seems like that more or less like 1,000-year stare. Yeah, and I broke up with my girlfriend like a year ago, and I had some problems. Came in.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, you look like you're doing okay, and I hope that these guys and the vet centers have been helping.
He nods. It's just a lot.
Yeah, I get that. But
You know, when you get out of this fucking life, you're so used to like routines and everything like that, and something just fucks it up.
I get that. You're used to you're used to the process, to the continual, up at X time, doing this by that time, and it's very by the book, and then you come back and it's open. There's whatever routines you've set for yourself, but even those are subject to change at a moment's notice. It's difficult to get used to.
At that point, Desmond turns around, just back from the bar real quick with another pint, and says, "Amen to that." Some people can actually do it. I mean, I think I'm holding up pretty okay, and some other finds, well, purpose another thing in the eyes. Justin, who just looks to Desmond and just takes out this little necklace with a cross and just dangles it in front of him.
Well, we all find solace where we can and cope how we can.
Yeah.
Whatever works for each person.
Justin goes up and takes a hand on your shoulder. How are you doing, Mason?
I think better than I was. That I think when I came back, I struggled to adjust to a kind of civilian life. So I threw myself into similar kind of work, but not quite as combat intensive. I started a detective agency and did that for a few years. It helped with the lack of direction and lack of purpose, and it made me feel like what I was contributing still in some way and helping people in some way, and I kind of needed that. But now I'm moved on from that, and I'm trying to find my feet again.
Justin just nods. Getting back into civilian life is hard. No one is pressuring you to do it, but you can find, and David just interrupts. Justin, you're sounding like the Dark right now. Come on. He stops just for a second and just pats your shoulder. You need something to drink? I don't drink, but I'll buy you one if you need one.
Yeah, just a Jack Daniels and Coke, I think would be good.
Jack and Coke coming up. He goes over to the bar.
But yeah, it's ups and downs, but in general, it could be worse.
David rolls up next to you and hands you a pool cue. Come on, your shot, your stripes.
All right then. Mason will take the cue and line up a shot.
Yeah. I'm not gonna make you roll, but let's say, what's your dexterity plus athletics? I don't know. What playing snooker or pool would be.
Dex athletics is 5.
Yeah, I mean, you do a good job. And just as David has just made his next shot, you actually put one down, and Justin comes back with your Jack and Coke.
Thanks. That's what do I owe you?
Nothing. Hey, both me and Desmond got out of this life by actually being too old to do our job, so retirement's good.
Wow, that's well. To making it that long, Mason will have a drink.
He just takes his glass of water, goes and taps it to yours, and says, "Amen." Desmond comes in kind of sloppily with his pint and says, "Amen." Matt takes a few shots as well, and obviously the best player of all of them, even though he's very calm facade, or maybe PTS-ridden facade.
So how often do you guys hang out?
They all kind of give each other just a look, shrugs, and says, whenever someone needs someone to talk to and hang out.
Nice. A little support network.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we're units. We look out for each other.
Well, I feel like, yeah, we all need that, don't we?
Yeah. You're actually not the main point of this conversation tonight. Actually, it's Matt over here just going out on Tinder dates and blowing them all off.
Never quite got into Tinder myself. I guess I kind of just threw myself into my work and didn't really make time for that.
David, rolls up and pats you back. We'll get you a date. I can talk with one of my wife's friends.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Maybe.
Hey, and Desmond, don't be too hard on Matt. At least he's trying. Not like you can't hold down a relationship for 1 week. And Desmond just looks at him, mouths "fuck you" to him, and takes another shot at the pool table.
Relationships are a whole different kind of difficult. Being in the military is one thing, but actually romance, love, it's a whole different ball game.
Matt looks up, says, "Yeah, I mean, when I was out in tour, all I could think about was going back to Vanessa, but now she fucked off, and I feel so lost,
Yeah.
It's and I can't just go and meet someone else. There needs to be chemistry and sparks, and I don't fucking know."
I get that. I really get that. It's difficult having that one thing that you want to come back to, having that one thing to come back to, and then not having that anymore. And I think it's just finding other reasons apart from that, of which there are. She wasn't as difficult as it may be to hear. She wasn't everything. You've got other things going for you. I mean, you've got a unit here that wants to look out for you and is spending their nights with you to make sure you're feeling all right. That's something.
A small smile creeps over his face, and he just takes a little bit of a sip from his pint, almost spilling it all as Desmond slaps him in the back and says, "Hey, Mr. Cassidy over here knows what he's talking about. Hey, you're one of us. Matt, come on. We got your back.
At the end of the day, I guess relationship or not, as long as you've got people who've got your back, you can't be doing too badly.
David just says, yeah, Matt, let us be fire support for fucking once.
But
David looks up to you. So, why the vet center? What got you down?
I think I needed to. I didn't exactly mentally adjust the best when I came back, and that wasn't really a problem for me for a while as I just dove into my work, and that's what I was focused on. So I didn't give myself time to process those kinds of things. My time over there. And I think that I don't want those unresolved issues to risk affecting or to affect my personal life in negative ways. It started to, and it was kind of a wake-up call for me.
He nods. Amanda, my 10-year-old. I mean, shit. She's at that age, she's starting to ask what happened to Dad's leg. And how the fuck do I tell her that?
Yeah. It's not an easy topic, I guess. And it's not exactly one you want to expose your child to, at least not yet.
Yeah.
It was my sister. That was the wake-up call. She could never quite understand why I dove into my work so much. And eventually it drove us apart. And yeah, I let her down because of it. And she doesn't really want to talk to me anymore.
Max looks up and says, Mason, we can never understand, okay?
I know.
Most of these people haven't had things explode around them and stare down the darkness of a pit of a barrel.
Yeah.
Hey, look at us. I mean, David's a... Sorry to say this, David, but you're a cripple. Still doing your best. And he says, thank you. I love the nice words of you. Desmond over here, he's still thinking about... I don't know. Desmond, what's your fucking deal anyway? He just shrugs. Feels like I'm just a few days from getting back on tour anyway. And Justin, the only one who thinks anything good, he found God, because God understands everything. And Justin just nods. Yeah, I mean, he loves us all.
I did try faith. I had a very religious upbringing with my parents, and I can understand why it works for people and why people believe it and why it gives them comfort. But it just didn't seem to work for me.
Justin looks up and says, For me, it's not going to mass and praying, with listening to priests and things like that. It's more of a me and the big guy kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I get that. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you found it.
Uh, whatever way you choose, Mason. I mean, God or look, he just looks to Desmond, booze and girls. Whatever you do, you still got your little unit here. You seem like a nice guy.
Well, I'd hope I am, but you all seem very kind and welcoming, and I really appreciate you accepting me into your unit.
Well, Desmond comes up and smacks you again in the back. You don't know if he's drunk or anything like that, but he seems to be a very, camaraderie kind of guy when it comes to that. At least you're from Crucible, and you don't. I hope so anyway. Share for the Broncos, and he smiles a little and looks to Matt. Matt just sighs.
Would not dream of cheering for the Broncos. Don't worry.
Good lad, good lad.
But yeah, it's. I think this is the first time since I've been back that I felt like I've been with people who get it.
They all kind of nod simultaneously.
So thank you.
No worries. Yeah, David pipes up. We respect the hustle.
I can see that. Anyway, let's finish off this game.
And as you finish up the game, talk a little bit just about normalcy in life. David's daughter just doing some fucking art project in school. Matt talking about this last Tinder date and why she wasn't the one. Desmond talks a lot about many things, and three pints later, he's almost cut off from the bar and gets into a fight with the bartender. Everyone pulls him back. Justin, after a while, actually calls it an early night and heads home. The game wraps up. You feel a little bit better talking to people who knows about what went down, about war and blood and hot days in the sun in Iraq and Afghanistan. People who've seen death, people who've seen gore. As the rest of the gang, except Justin, walks out of the bar, Desmond almost leaning a little bit on Matt. A cab pulls up. Matt just pushes Desmond in and takes a seat himself. I'll see you guys around, right?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. It's been a great night.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take this fucking drunk ass home.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
See you around.
David is the only one left. You see him messaging a little bit on his phone, and a car begins to pull up. That's my wife. She's picking me up.
All right.
Hey, he extends a hand up to you.
Yeah, Mason, I'll take it.
First meeting. Come on. You did great. The guys like you. I can see it. You're welcome back. Whatever you need us.
Thank you. And any of you feel free to call on me when you need me.
Yeah. Walking out of the car, let's say, mid-30s woman goes up to David, gives him a hug, looks to you, smiles, introduces herself as Jennifer Berg, and helps him into the car and puts the wheelchair in. As they both drive off, David just looks out and gives you a small wave goodbye as they drive off into the night,
Nice.
leaving you all alone.
Mason will just walk back to Spoke Hill, but he'll take a bit of a longer route, just enjoying the after feeling of this night a little longer. And that's where we end the scene.